If you just tell me you don't have to do it on camera, I'll do it. I'll make an ass of myself.
Skate, then jump off and do some like...
And then get back on?
Yeah.
Tony, eyes on me. Eyes on me.
Yes.
Welcome. Here we go.
And I'm not Tony Hawk. Hey everybody, Jason Ellis, world famous comedian, but not famous at all, but a comedian. I'm on the road doing comedy. Everybody can come and see me. You can see me June 13th. I'm in Salt Lake City, and then Tacoma, Washington, July 5th and 6th. And then Spokane, July 7th, and then July 24th, Louisville, and then I'm going to be July 25th in Port Wayne. I don't even know where that is, but I'm going there. And then Appleton, Wisconsin, I've been there. I said Fort Wayne. You don't understand what I'm saying, but Fort Wayne, I don't know how to say it or where it is, but I'm going there and I'm doing jokes, you bastards. And then Appleton, Wisconsin, I've been there once. I ate cheese curds and then I pooed them out and they still look like the actual thing that I ate right after it. So I'm excited to be there, everybody. July 26th and 27th. Go to thejasonellis.com for tickets. Woo!
Bob Odenkirk is here, if you couldn't tell. You were on arguably one of the best TV shows ever to exist
Mr. Show
in history.
with Bob and David.
Mr. Show, exactly. Second only to Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
That's right.
What is your favorite show?
The Royle Family. Can you type it in? R-O-Y-L-E. The Royle Family. Type it in, would you? Show Tony what I'm talking about. This is, I think, the best, smartest, most well-constructed comedy. No, it's old.
It's old.
What year is it from?
98.
98.
Oh, wow.
They did 3 seasons, 2.5 seasons like they do in England.
That's
this
a deep
family,
cut.
most of the time, all they do in the show is watch TV and you watch them watching TV. And they bitch at each other, tear each other apart. The dad, played by Ricky Tomlinson, farts and is cruel to his son. Absolutely
awesome.
cruel. Everyone, look, they're in that kitchen, or now he's mad right now. He's bitching about his wife. And he's poking at me. And that's the son-in-law who's going to marry his daughter. And he's like really pissed off. And look at that shitty kitchen they're in. Oh, because it's about the remote. It's about who has the remote.
I love how much joy it gives you.
He's really
amazing.
Yeah. Because I've seen it like 3 times.
The way you look at
You
this
tell him I won't come in there.
Look at you're reading a list. The way
Isn't it
the way
great?
you see it is the way that my wife sees Absolutely Fabulous.
Yeah.
Like the way that she lights up on the screen when it's on.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, this is
Well,
the best.
you know, this show is, it's an obscure show. It came before The Office, the British Office. It's really everything I just said. I mean, it's true. They're very mean to each other.
Yeah.
And so my son had some challenges as a young man, and it was a little hard to reach, and it really was painful. You know, we had some bad incidents in my home, and if you saw the movie Nobody, you know, some of that came from my real life.
Wow.
The first scenes from it, and this show, which for some reason I put on, is from England. You have to leave the subtitles on to follow it.
I don't.
And you don't have to, but it's Manchester. And this show, which is so full of, really like they're mean to each other. It is just a home full of people enabling each other's worst instincts and selves. It has some kind of warmth at the core of it, hidden deep, 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 deep inside. And he really responded to the humor of it and the warmth that you can almost not find, but then you do find it. And we watched the whole thing, all the episodes. And he was a very young guy. He was 12 years old. And again, for us, we had to leave the subtitles on, but it really connected with him. And so it means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Because, people come up to me all the time, Tony, and say, I watched Saul with my father as he was dying. It seems to be a show that people connected over over generations. And, I know how that feels because the Royle Family was that for me. Yeah.
That's awesome. I watched Better Call Saul when I was going through my broken leg recovery, and I was watching it in a hyperbaric chamber on an iPad that was, because you can't have electronics in there, so it was on an iPad and a window, only with subtitles, so no sound.
God.
And I watched, I watched the majority of it in that way, and it kept me so entertained and so my mind off of what I was going through too.
Yeah.
I mean, I know exactly what that, and thank you for that.
Well, listen, it's the writing, right? I mean,
it's the
we're
right,
good
but
performers, but the complexity of the characters and the degree of I don't know how they did it. I don't know how they did it, because when they talk about the show, a lot of times the writers talk about, and I'm talking about Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould. They say, oh, we didn't know what that would mean, or we didn't know why we had this guy, and we didn't even know what this was, and you just can't believe that they launched into building this world and didn't understand all that would be meaningful and resonate later.
right.
I almost don't really believe them, frankly. But so much of when you get into things and you have a character like Gus, right, who's really almost the closest thing to a conceptualized human being in the show. Well, there's a few others, but he's pretty close to. That's not a person. That's like a force of nature. He's pure evil, or he's pure bland. Harmlessness.
Right.
You don't see anything in between. There's no real texture in there. Somehow he's this machine that switches from utterly shut down, harmless, bland person running this chicken shop to ice cold killer. And then you do a scene like in the last season where he's at a bar having a drink. He starts to connect with this guy, and he doesn't do much. I mean, Giancarlo doesn't do much at all. He doesn't cry, or he doesn't like reach his hand out or have a waver in his voice or anything. And yet you feel it. You feel he's just trying to connect with somebody, and like how do you do that? And how do you? I don't know.
But also, I know you keep saying it's the writing, but actors like you and Giancarlo, that's the recipe that makes it. And to see you, especially, you didn't get much of the background of your character in Breaking Bad, but to see the actual development of your personality and the character through Better Call Saul was fascinating.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, one of the reasons we were able to do that is because you didn't know who he was.
Right.
In Breaking Bad, there was he never went home. He never talked about what he had to do later tonight.
Yeah.
The only backstory I had for him was he golfs and he goes to strip clubs. That's it. He's a shitty golfer. He's out doing par threes only. He's nothing against par threes. They're fun as hell. But he wouldn't know what to do with a big course, a big hard course.
I just wear this because I think it's fun. I don't golf, so.
Oh yeah? You don't golf?
No, I don't have time. No, I mean it would be terrible.
That's a weird
question.
He looks like a golfer to you.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Plus he's athletic, so why wouldn't you golf? I mean, you're going to beat everybody who's anywhere near your age.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it is the time it takes.
Yeah, I imagine you to be a terrible golfer.
Yeah, I'm pretty bad.
Why?
My wife is good, but
because he can't play basketball.
Oh yeah?
How dare you?
You're a terrible basketball player, dude. I'm from Australia, and I will school you.
That's not good.
It's not.
That is not a compliment.
That's
you're
the
tall.
next episode.
Yeah, you're bad. I remember. I'll never forget. I was like, Tony Hawk can't play basketball.
I did quit to go skate, so you might have a point there.
Yeah. Skating when I was a kid, I loved skateboards, but again, I came from that time before you guys showed everyone what you could do with a goddamn skateboard.
Yeah.
It must have been kind of crazy, right? Do you have any connection to what I was talking about before?
Oh yeah, no, I know what you mean.
The Dogtown and Z-Boys,
for sure.
The scene. Do you remember what year that was? Was it 70?
I think it was 76 or 77, Del Mar Nationals.
Did you have do you know what I mean? Like, how did you perceive it coming from as a kid going like,
I got into skating right after that had all happened. I mean, within a year or two of that happening. And had I gotten into it when it was just the more freestyle pirouettes and handstands, I would have been probably discouraged.
Did you hear that, everyone? Pirouettes and handstands.
He dissed it hard. Yeah.
I'm just saying that's kind of what it was.
It was boring.
It was a lot of wheelies. It was a lot of handstands. People would actually get off the board and dance near the skateboard.
That's
you
not
know what
cool.
I'm talking about. And
are you serious?
Then these guys came along and they figured out, we can skate pools because they look like waves. And I got into skateboarding right when that started, and I saw them flying, and it was like, that is cool. I want to do that. I want to fly. I mean, that's what got me into it.
There's something about this that when I think about the things they were doing, pirouettes and handstands, I feel like they looked at the board like old men, even though they were kids. And they went, well, what are we going to do with that? I just suppose it would be hard to do a handstand with it. See if you can do it. Oh, my goodness, look at him. He stayed up for 3 seconds.
I mean, they are old men, so that's like...
What if you tried to dance beside it?
Yeah.
Would that work? Look at the handstand. Oh my God.
Yeah, but I mean, once people started launching and things, then that's when to me, it just got exciting.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Naperville, Illinois. Do you know it? It's actually a pretty big community now.
Yeah.
There was nobody living there. I mean, literally, we were the second house on our street. So they built this community around us, which was so much fun because we would play in all the houses that were being built.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Yes. One time we changed the shape of someone's basement because there was this big, basements were everywhere. You could just go climb down into all these holes that had been dug, these giant holes. And we all was like, everyone's going to build a cave. We're going to have 4 caves. I'm building mine. Everyone brought a shovel from home, and we're all digging our caves out. And, of course, at some point, the whole wall of an already dug basement. The whole, probably 3 feet to 4 feet went, and just all this dirt fell in. So we gave somebody a bigger house than they were going to have.
Sweet.
But, it was fun to play.
That's so Midwest.
We had so much fun. And, of course, super dangerous, always stepping on nails all the time.
Yeah.
And also stealing wood and building tree forts. And
we stole wood for different purposes,
ramps.
but we feel that,
we weren't making, but there was no ramps. We would just go down the driveway and then go down the sidewalk and go.
No wonder you quit.
Snake around like this. It was...
You never got to the handstand phase.
I never even got to the handstand phase.
Maybe for the best.
I didn't either.
Yeah, right. Me neither.
Who knows? Maybe that's the
that could
new
be
frontier.
That's where we go to die. Yeah. The handstand phase.
Right.
Yeah.
Are you a big skateboarder?
Yeah, just not
I'm
as good as him.
sorry that I didn't
No,
know.
it's fair. No, I was partying a lot, but I was pro too. Just not as good as him.
Yeah.
Close. One time I beat him.
Is that true?
One time. Yeah.
Where was it?
He fell off. And he got 7th and I got 6th, and I went up to him. I was like, "Hey man, I beat you." And he was like, "Cool, dude." I was like, "Oh yeah, that's probably."
What event was
I don't
that?
think you in England.
Oh, Northampton.
Yeah, you were having a bad time.
Oh
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going
He was
to go
also
into the
going
story
through a
about
bad
that, but
time.
yeah.
Cocaine.
No. You want to know? You're going to be bummed out if you
Yeah,
want to know.
don't do it.
but-
Okay.
Booze.
Oh, you're gonna have to.
My dad was in the last stages of cancer, and I went there,
that is a bummer.
and I was like,
Can we just say it's
I hate
cocaine?
being here.
You were doing a lot of cocaine.
okay, I was doing a lot of cocaine. I was partying, Jason.
Yeah.
I couldn't stop myself.
That's why.
That's
it was
No,
right.
I
That's right.
I ate shit
Yeah, I know.
like bad at that event.
You have to see it from
So-
my angle.
Yeah.
The great Tony Hawk was unbeatable.
Yeah.
And he fell off, and I placed higher
In a
than him.
bad way. I fell off in a bad
Oh,
way.
Yeah. But I didn't see it that way because all I thought was, dude, you just beat Tony Hawk. You got to go tell him that.
Yes.
Because it was very impossible.
You didn't know.
No, and he didn't tell me to f off or anything, which would have been fair. But he knew that from my perspective, this is the biggest, you're going to say it 30 years later.
Right.
That was a legendary event, though. There's still footage from that event, the street event, Tom Penny and everyone.
Yeah.
The
that's amazing.
Northampton.
Northampton, England,
was a big day.
outside of London. Yeah, I went from that contest into a cab to London Heathrow and flew home.
Right.
I was supposed to go on a European tour from there, and I was like, I cannot keep doing this.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. How old were you?
20.
Is this it right here?
7 or something.
Hey, everybody, this podcast is sponsored by Outer Known. Do you know who Kelly Slater is? Greatest surfer, maybe possibly potentially the greatest athlete of all time in the history of the universe, except for Tony Hawk. He made a clothing company, and it's like recyclable things, but you wouldn't know that. Like, for instance, me, I didn't know that. It's really comfortable. They got like fleecy jacket things and button-ups and shorts and all kinds of stuff that I wear. And he's a surfer, and I don't like wearing surfer stuff because I'm a skateboarder. But it's comfortable. It fits great. They're made from quality materials, so they last the test of time. I love a blanket shirt. I don't usually like shirts that have like that kind of pattern on it, but they're so comfy that I have one in my car because every now and then it's cold when I didn't expect it to be, and I'll wear it. I went on a date the other day and had it on the whole time, and guess what? Well, I probably shouldn't say it, but it worked out. How about that? Go to outerknown.com today and enter the code WOLF at checkout, and you'll get 25% off your full price order. That's outerknown.com, outerknown.com, and remember to use the code WOLF at checkout for 25% off. Check them out today, outerknown.com, and don't forget promo code WOLF for 25% off.
Jason.
You don't need film.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Nobody's shooting on film. Is anyone shooting on film?
That's happening.
Paul Thomas
I'm
Anderson.
shooting you on my phone, signing the Los Hermanos cups that I bought at a prop auction. We're gonna give these away.
You're such a nerd.
I love it, man. Whatever. Very
Giving these away. Trying to do right by the show, Jason, and you're just ridiculing me.
Trying to help.
Yeah,
make
that's
things
for me.
Better.
Yeah, thank you for making sure that's unfair.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's rough, buddy. That's rough. My dad died when I was 22. I hadn't seen him in 5 years, but I did see him before he passed away. And when I went to go see him, I was like, because we never got along and I never really connected with him. And I thought he was a jerk. And I thought, well, I'm 22 now. I'm not a kid anymore. Let me try to connect. Let me try to see if I can. Maybe that was all just me being young and him being drunk. And I went to Indianapolis with my brother Steve, and he was at his parents' house, and he had been diagnosed with bone cancer, and he was in bed, and I think he started treatments because he wasn't moving around much, and I couldn't connect.
Really?
He didn't.
He wasn't open
speak
to it.
me.
He wasn't open to it.
His two sons walked in, his two oldest sons walked in, hasn't seen them in years. And he's like talking about some fucking guy who he knew who got a new car and how the fuck did that guy get that car? He's talking about he got some promotion at work.
And he knows he's terminal.
He knows he's terminal. And these are his two sons. And the last time he talked to me, he was trying to explain what went wrong. And I was like, what are you talking? He was telling me all this awful shit years before. And he's talking about some fucking guy who got a job that he didn't get, and he should have gotten that. And why did he get it? And how did he get that car? And
that was the last time you saw him?
No, I saw him 2 or 3 more times after that. But it was like, I tried, it just was never going to happen. This guy was obsessed with everyone around him and how they were doing and what he didn't get. And what the fuck?
Yeah, that's awful.
Dude, it's over.
Yeah.
You don't need a car.
Yeah.
You don't need a job.
What would you do with it?
You don't need a car.
Oh, that's hard, man. I'm sorry.
Did that help you?
It helped me to know that I tried and that I had a clear moment to connect, and it didn't work.
It didn't come from your side?
It didn't have to, I didn't have to walk away later in life and go, well, maybe if only.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I had that moment. I knew I had that moment. I tried to make the most of it, and it was just not going to happen.
What about your perspective on life? Like, do you look at other people's success and go, fuck that guy, he's got a better car? Or do you think you're the opposite of that because of you witnessing that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it helped me to not be like that. But I also think I just wasn't like that. I don't understand what his deal. I don't understand his deal at all. I can't figure him out. This guy. He was like. I don't know if you guys mind getting this personal, but he was very immature.
Yeah.
He was in the Korean War, and he was in the Navy, and he always blamed his time in the Navy for kind of everything, for being an alcoholic, for being angry. So there's always a chance something bad happened that I don't know about.
I was gonna say that's not a bad argument.
It's true. It's true. I got to leave a little room there.
Right.
He was on a destroyer, and they were going around harassing the junk ships, in the harbor,
Right.
which, could be
Some heavy stuff.
Yeah, could be some really ugly stuff.
Right. Which is
That's great.
Like,
My dad was also in the Navy, also on a carrier, World War II, but he left it behind, but he wouldn't talk about it. So the opposite of not, he's not blaming anything. He just didn't ever discuss it. And I tried to bring it up a couple times. We're like, did you ever bomb? He's like,
it shuts down.
Yeah, I've just kind of shut down. And it was like, I remember one time he said, well, did you ever, I think it was Okinawa? And it's like, did you ever visit? And he goes, I flew over it. And I could just tell in that moment where it was like, you flew over it and you definitely dropped bombs on it.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't say it.
No.
Yeah. Well, it's funny how, do you feel like your relationship with your dad also is a component that drove you to be intense about what you pursued?
I suppose. I mean, I don't think I ever connected that much. He was not warm. Like he wasn't, he was proud, but he just showed it. And, he was a child of the Depression, and just, there wasn't a lot of emotions.
Yeah. They didn't have many. They were running out.
Yeah, they ran out.
We don't have a lot of money. There's no jobs. And we've only got
no
3 or 4
tears.
emotions left.
There's no money. There's no more tears. That's it. And he scraped by. I mean, it was
See,
hard.
I feel like
to
my
raise
dad,
4
and
kids.
that's, again, maybe I should leave more room in there for something traumatic that may have happened to him. But I kind of feel like he was spoiled or indulged to a level.
Really?
Well, he always resented the rules of the Navy.
Okay.
The number of rules and how life was like, do what you're told to do. Yeah, and I know his mom babied him because she would call him by his baby name.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Calm.
My dad came to realize that the woman that was raising him probably wasn't his mom, so...
That's a
whole different
weird
thing.
moment.
Yeah.
When did he find that out?
Yeah. I mean, it's like a complicated history.
Okay.
And
That's wild.
well, I mean, no, she kind of didn't, but and then my mom found out that she was actually a year older than she was, and that her dad wasn't her dad. So, God,
Dude.
Holy
went
shit!
sideways. Yeah.
Don't do Finding Your Roots because it'll be a mess.
Oh, my oldest sister has she's got all the info.
Oh, really?
She went down the rabbit hole. Yeah,
Oh,
she
wow.
found out. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean,
That's kind of wild. So dads, what about your dad?
We shouldn't do it.
No?
Yeah.
Come on.
Look at me, dude.
It's like-
How do you think it went?
Well, let me guess. Your dad hated tattoos.
No,
My
he
dad
actually-
did tell, one thing he did tell us.
Yeah.
Don't ever get a tattoo. He had this shitty tattoo that he got on the ship.
Oh,
yeah.
It was terrible. It was
Yeah.
a blotchy mess. It was an anchor.
Of course.
And I said something, but who knows what it said anymore. So,
Yeah, my mum said that, and not to get a motorcycle license. I don't have a motorcycle license. I did half,
you ride motorcycles
ride 'em.
incessantly, though.
I ride dirt bikes. It's different.
that's not the same.
Okay. Wow. That's quite a loophole
No,
you created
because
for
her
yourself.
angle was, and it's a good angle, someone's going to run you over. She knew that I was going to be an excellent motorcycle rider. She just didn't trust the road.
people, yeah.
And now that I
Yeah.
live in LA, I think that was I still
Wait a second. Do you ride a motorcycle around L.A.?
no, I don't ride
Only
ride
dirt.
on the
Just
road,
dirt
just
bikes.
dirt. Yeah. Is it dangerous? Have I been hurt? Yeah, but it was me. I did it. It was my
You're
fault.
Understood,
proud of
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Call your mom.
I don't have anybody to blame. It's good.
So what was your dad with your mom?
Well, what does that mean? He must have been with her
Were they
7
together?
times. There were 7 kids.
Were they
Seven
together when he was
on
older?
7 nights. I'm going to guess it happened at night. She did come home. No, he left when I was 15, and then he did come back when he was sick with cancer. She let him come home and be home for the last
wow.
couple weeks of his life, which was great.
Oh, okay.
Really great. Yeah, it was a weird and a different time, and we had I'm from a family of 7. We all love each other. We still love each other. We still get along great. We're kind to each other and supportive. And the other kids are funny. My brother Bill is a comedy writer. He wrote for The Simpsons for like 16 years. He writes for Futurama. He's got a doctorate in chemistry. Very intelligent guy.
Dang.
That all skipped me. And the other kids are, bankers. And, I've got a sister who's a certified undertaker, which is pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, they all
How do you get certified?
It's a lot of work, actually.
Really?
Tons of work. Yeah, she had to go to school for like 2 years. You have to learn law. You have to learn chemistry. So that's not easy to get. So,
Intimidating.
Yeah, so everybody's cool, and we got along great when we were living at home too. It was weird. It was like we had this. We were tight because we had this challenge. Right? We had this tension in the house.
To take care of each other.
Yeah, that's right.
What? How you have older?
I'm the second oldest.
Second
I have,
oldest.
one older brother.
So you were 15. Everyone else was much younger.
Oh yeah,
Most everyone. No,
yeah.
that's really hard.
Well, some of the kids didn't really know him at all.
So you had parental abilities as a child.
Oh yeah,
Right.
I just sure did. Yeah, I absolutely was like me and my brother Steve, and we were taking care of the babies all the time. But
So you were responsible way before you were
super
supposed
responsible, and so are most of my brothers and sisters, like to a sickening degree, almost. Where you make mistakes in life. I mean, you got to have some flexibility, right? You don't.
But that is super hard.
But to the level of like, I told somebody I'd return this, whatever stupid piece of this garbage bag. I have to drive 300 miles to give them this nothing thing that they forgot about. Everything you said you'd do or intimated that you would do, any little thing that you suggested you might cover, it's in your head. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it.
Right.
And it's not true. I mean, people let each other slide on lots of little things, and you got to have your bigger priorities are what matters, anyways.
What led you to comedy in those days?
Comedy, because it's fun. It's funny and silly, and you got to make fun of people. I mean, Monty Python. Look, when I was a kid, my dad, he did turn the TV on a couple times. He loved Hee Haw, and he loved Benny Hill Show.
Yeah.
Benny Hill Show had some funny shit in it, for
Benny
sure.
Hill was awesome.
And it made me smile.
We would get scolded in elementary school and junior high for watching Benny Hill.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But Benny Hill is like the British Hee Haw.
No, I'm not talking about not from my parents, from teachers, because we would all be quoting Benny Hill coming to class, and they're like, "You guys cannot watch that garbage," and we're like, "It's funny."
It is, and
we didn't even get the jokes, but it's funny.
Then Python.
Wait, you didn't even get the
I mean, a lot of it was like such the sexual
No,
jokes.
come on. A lot of the
We're in
jokes
elementary
are
school.
very Britain, 1972.
Yeah.
You know,
okay.
They're like music hall humor, right?
Yeah.
We didn't even know that's what we were watching. You understood it completely.
I thought I did.
Yeah. And then Python was what made me so fucking happy and made me feel like I gotta do that. I gotta do something like that.
Did you think because it's also smart?
Yeah, silly, smart. It's making fun of the adults, which,
Yep.
as if you're in a kid and your house is like a tense place where shit isn't right, I don't know, I guess you can get really depressed, but the other way you can go is like, these people don't know what the fuck they're doing. And a TV show that tells you with its sort of, subtextual message that the adults are fucking idiots. They're clowns.
I liked it that
It's
they
the
all thought
greatest.
that it seemed like they were all friends as well. Mm-hmm. Like all the people that were in all these films together, they were like a team, and I was like, it must be cool.
Yeah.
When they're not, when they're making it, like, because they're all so funny when they're in the movie. Like, imagine what it's like off the side of it, And because I was in Australia, I think I got to see they were in a lot of interviews on TV where they'd be together, and I'd just be like, man, it seems like the coolest gang
So
ever.
funny.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
A gang.
Did you ever get to work with any of the Monty Python players?
I've gotten to know Eric Idle a little bit, and I hosted a thing with Cleese, but I mean, meeting those guys is insane. I mean, I think, they're idols, really, to me.
Icons.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Seriously.
And I think Eric Idle in particular, look, I like all of them, I really do, but Eric kind of wrote these very perfect pieces like always look on the bright side of life, and nudge, nudge, wink, wink, and I'm sure many others that he had an appreciation for like a classic form that I do too. I think on Mr. Show, you know, people always say it's a cool show because the sketches kind of bleed into each other and all that. That's fine, but it's not that great, really. I mean, it's doable by almost anybody. What's really great is when you write a perfect little sketch. Like your guy here was talking about. What was your favorite sketch? The pre-tape call-in show. Yeah, like that's just like insane. Like that's like I didn't write that, by the way, but it was on our show, and it's just this show. It's just so this guy's doing a talk show, right?
Yeah.
But it's pre-taped. So what you're seeing now was taped a week ago.
Oh, and
so
then
don't call in
Yeah.
about what you're seeing. Call in about next week's, subject. And he can't get anyone to understand the concept, and he's going crazy. He's on his like 5th week, and at some point in the sketch, you go back in time, and you can see he's pulled his hair out over the course of 6 weeks, and he's just gotten madder, and he's got more hair and more hair until the first show. It was funny because Tony, as soon as we had the freedom to do this show, which I'd already written at Saturday Night Live, and I'd already written at the Ben Stiller Show. And our first thought was, this is great. We can do anything. And we did, of course, launch into crazy, long-winded, circuitous, funny stuff. But within only a few weeks, I think both David Cross and I looked at each other and realized, the hard thing to do is not to just wander around aimlessly, but to write a tight little perfect, thing that has a beginning, middle, and end, and really cleans itself up, but surprises you along the way. Like it's not that freedom is not the sketches.
But you had to do that for SNL, right? You had to do that for.
Well, SNL has all these limitations on it, right? So SNL was not like this thing where I was given all this freedom. I mean, we were just given money. We could do whatever we wanted, and we'd established with HBO there's no commercials on that channel. So we'd established that we would do crazy, wild stuff and go anywhere. And but no, at SNL it's the opposite. It's like tons of rules. Like one set, use the host, do something political.
Okay.
There are like 5 things you have to do to get something on the show.
What about Ben Stiller?
Stiller's show was freedom. It was a great deal of freedom, and I took full advantage of that. Put up Manson Lassie. I wrote this. Did you ever see this sketch?
I know. I watched Ben Stiller show.
Manson Lassie is essentially it's me as Charles Manson, but he's Lassie, and they the family has him. They keep him. Manson used to do those interviews occasionally, and he would just ramble insanely, and so. The family has him as like a dog, and he's just saying crazy shit.
That was yours?
Yeah, I wrote this, and I had a great time doing that. In fact, I'll tell you, when this show ended, which it ended quickly, we only did 13 episodes, and they didn't even show the last one. I remember thinking, my goal in life now is to somehow recreate that scenario.
Manson Lassie?
Yeah, no, the Ben Stiller show.
I was gonna
the
say.
Friends, the group.
There was there?
Andy Dick was part of it, but Janine Garofalo, Ben, Judd Apatow, David Cross.
Wasn't there a doc about it? Was there some sort of?
That was you're thinking about the Dana Carvey show.
Dana Carvey show, yeah. But I know that I saw clips from Ben Stiller.
My goal was to try somehow to get a show where I get that many good friends around. Working together and laughing with each other and being
Manson
stupid.
Lassie though is like
you can't beat Manson Lassie.
Bring that. I would watch a whole movie of that.
I am curious though. You're doing all this and it's all comedy all the time.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what the transitional phase is, but
there's no transition. They shouldn't have put me on Breaking Bad. I did nothing to earn
how did that come about?
Nothing. I didn't audition for it.
Okay, were you
audition for it?
Were you concerned that it was going to be a dramatic role? That you would have to actually do serious acting?
I wasn't that concerned about. I was more concerned, and I'm being serious, that I would show up on set and they would go, "Oh shit, what's your name again?" "Oh, you're Bob Odenkirk." "Oh, okay, yeah, no, just hang out at the hotel. We're gonna get."
You didn't
back
read
to
for it at all.
Not at all.
Wow.
I was genuinely concerned that I would land and I would be told there's another Bob Odenkirk. He went to Juilliard. He's a fucking great actor. I'm so sorry. We should have checked the names and
What?
Yeah, seriously, because I didn't do anything to deserve that role in that context. I hadn't really done. Had I done any drama? I mean, that I can think of, not really. So I think part of it was that on Breaking Bad, the character probably was perceived as comic relief, and they knew Mr. Show really well. They loved Mr. Show, the writers of Breaking Bad, and they watched a lot of it in the writers' room, and they also probably thought that I think that Saul wouldn't last very long. He'd be like 3
Did
episodes.
they have a role for David too?
We never got David in there. I'm sure he's mad about that. Oh well.
Did you have any influence on the writing as you got more comfortable with it?
Not really, no. I mean, I didn't want any influence. I love what they did so much, and I also became very aware very quickly. I got this first script, and it had Saul, yammering away. Just he talks so much, that character. And I thought, I almost started rewriting, like just crossing stuff out and putting changes in, like, oh, what if you did this? What if? And I realized now, no, this is a drama. I don't know these guys. What if I tried to be an actor? What if an actor would get this, I think, and just do what they wrote? And that would be his job, would be to do that.
So when you first looked at it, you were kind of trying to put your spin on it, or
yeah, because just how I would treat anything that I'd done through my whole career. I mean, I had the pen out. I probably made a note or two, and I remember thinking, no, this is acting, and it isn't an actor. An actor gets a script, and they don't change it. That's why that's their part. So I wonder if I could do that. So let's try to do that. Let's try to do this thing exactly as written, exactly, to the comma, because Saul says things in strange constructions sometimes. That's how it's written.
Right. I
probably got it to I want to say 95%, 98%. I really tried. The only time I affected the show was in Better Call Saul, and in the later seasons when I would feel the confidence to knowing the character to say to Peter Gould, maybe he does this, or why does he say it that way, or would he? Then I felt like I wasn't stepping on this thing, or even wanting it to be. I don't want it to be me. I want it to be this other person, and it was strange. But the thing is, it's like that action movie that I did, Nobody. It's
So
like I had
awesome.
nothing riding on it. If that didn't work, so what? I never said I wanted to be an action star. If Saul didn't work, you asked me to do it. I didn't go around spending years knocking on doors going, put me in drama.
Yeah.
I didn't do any plays. I never, I had nothing at stake really. I mean, obviously.
Did it make it more fun?
For sure. Way more fun.
Because there's no pressure? Or
No, it's no real, there's no big pressure.
Right.
There's no universal pressure of come on, you said you were funny.
Yeah.
You got all those Emmys. Let's see it.
From the outside, it seems that you were maybe not going to have such a big role, and then the response must have been great seeing you on there and just working with you. So then they're like,
I
all
think
right,
the
he's a big
show
part of
also was so bleak. At some point in that show, very quickly when I was there, I had any character I was talking to, they were going to die.
They're going to die. I was going to say,
I'm the only character.
Or get put through the most traumatic experience of anyone's life.
Yeah. Every person that
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
to, including, Skylar,
Right.
and my character's like, well, I guess if all you guys die, I still get
I'll
this
defend
off.
you.
Nothing changes for me. Nothing. I get to keep the
if something
money.
goes bad, I'm going to call this one guy and he's going to change my identity and I'll be anonymous. At what point, during or after Breaking Bad, did they approach you about Better Call Saul?
Oh, people joked about it. Look at this. David Cross is calling me.
Nice.
Answer it.
Nah,
Answer it.
I should have.
Oh,
you want me to
call him back.
How do I call him back? I'll put him on speaker.
It's already.
I love David Cross.
Yes, I know. This
He's
is
so funny.
I've told this story before, but in the first scene I do with Walter White in Saul's office, I must have been, I don't know, fifth or sixth take or something, and I finished my little spiel, which was actually pretty long, and the director said, cut, and one of the cameramen said, can I get a job on the sequel? And everyone laughed.
Oh wow!
The Saul.
But they already had the show written with an ending. No, I'm talking about Breaking Bad. At that point.
No. This is the second season of Breaking Bad.
Oh wow! Okay.
I'm just invited. My character's really only there, as I understand it, initially, to get the story to evolve.
But there was just
they're in a corner. They were stuck.
Right.
There was something going to happen with Badger, but also with Jesse's girlfriend. What's her name? Jane. And they knew they needed Saul to help get rid of the body. Now, he doesn't help, but they were going to have Saul do that. But I had to go do How I Met Your Mother, so they had to create the character of Mike, but they also said that made a lot more sense because Saul would never move a body. And so it was a bit of happenstance all along the way that they had me, to get this story point to move forward, because they were kind of cornered. And then I think they just realized, I don't want to speak for them, but I'm going to take a guess that the degree to which Saul was kind of, he could laugh and joke was helpful to a show that was this.
There must have been something in the air when you said you did this line and you did this performance.
Well, I think it was a long monologue, and I did it well. And that was like, okay. But also, yes, it had a vibe that probably he responded to. And he said, can I get a job on the sequel? And everyone laughed. And then people talked about it almost as a joke all the time, including Vince Gilligan. Pretty much once a year on Breaking Bad, he'd pull me aside and say, do you think there's a show in Saul?
Wow.
Because I think there might be. And
Are you going to say no?
Well, I would always say, because I know what it's like to have actors needing you to do something. I would always say, if you think there's a show, then there's probably a show. Yeah. And that's as far as I would go. I would never say I need it, I want it, please do that. I never counted on it, I didn't think about it, because I do my own stuff, and it's not, the business is full of needy people, and I don't really want to be one of them. Do you want to call David?
Sure.
He would love it.
The burning question is, did that cameraman get a job on the
yes,
sequel?
He did.
He did.
I think I know who it was. Jason, do you know David Cross?
Like personally?
He's a difficult guy.
Difficult?
He's a difficult person.
Oh, that's what my kids do. My kids do that. They call me and I call them back and they don't answer.
What
every
the fuck
time.
is that?
Dude,
By the way, who doesn't answer their goddamn
Maybe
cell phones
somebody
every fucking
somebody
time?
was trying to murder him and he was asking
This is
for
my
help.
invitation.
He has the funniest message.
Hi.
It's so annoying.
Hi. Please record your message.
This is what I imagine my daughter doing when she calls me. She calls, I missed the call, whatever. Oh.
Yes.
And then, I call back and the phone's just on the other side of the room or whatever.
Yeah. I don't get it. I answer my phone
I didn't mean to hit that. It's okay. I see it.
It's
That was
okay. It's
aggressive.
in good shape.
But or just wings it. Like one time she
throws
texted me
the
about
phone.
getting a ride home from her friend's house, and then she went MIA for like 2 hours, and I was like, okay, that is not acceptable.
Yeah.
We definitely had to come to,
Oh yeah.
we
Come
had
to
a moment where it was
AT&T.
like, this is not okay.
Don't spit the dummy.
I just learned that.
Wait, what's that term?
I just learned that term
I've
today.
never heard that.
It's when a baby has a pacifier in
Yeah.
Australia, it's called a dummy.
Oh yeah.
And when a baby's crying, you give them the pacifier and they spit it out. And
They don't get it back.
It's
No, it
called-
just means like it is an ultra tantrum.
Oh yeah.
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 I went
Cry.
snowboarding with someone recently, and they weren't as good as the rest of us. And when we got back to the chair, it was like, "Come on!" And he was like, "Man," and I was like, "Oh man, he spat the dummy," because he didn't. He was like, "You guys are too good, and I don't want to go with you guys anymore."
What was the most challenging?
Saul was the most challenging thing. But
Saul was.
Yeah, there's no comparison to anything I did. I mean, Breaking Bad was really fun because the weight was on Bryan and Aaron and Anna's and Dean's and Betsy's shoulders. I mean, they were that show, and I was popping in and being this clown and having a great time. And by the way, little kids at home, which means you get to spend 3 days in a hotel in Albuquerque watching TV all you want, going out to eat for every meal, and what can you do? You got to do it. You got a job. And so Breaking Bad was fun, a hoot, and I learned a lot. But then Saul came along, and it was hard. It was really, really hard and very frightening.
Because the weight of it was on you.
Yeah, man, because he talks so much. I mean, the weight of it was on me for sure. I don't want to just make this a quantity issue, but the quantity of acting that I was asked to do in a very short amount of time was, it's one thing to go, here's a really hard scene. It's 3 pages long. You do it. We need you to do it in 2 weeks. You might get anxious about that and all, but to go every single day, you're going to do 6 to 7 pages, maybe more, maybe a little less. You're going to talk through most of it.
Right.
Your guy is going to have.
Did it get easier? Like, did you get better?
Yes,
at it?
in the 3rd season. I mean, I got better at it for
Right.
sure. Yeah, I got more confidence and I got better at it.
Like, do you carry that with you now? Like, you have
No,
that?
but I just became very aware later of the degree to which it impacted me then and how I didn't realize it then.
Yeah.
Like, I was a fucking basket case after the 1st season. In fact, I lost my voice a few days before we shot the 1st episode. And, it's clearly all stress, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't perceive it so at the time. I never do that with myself. I always like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's great. I don't know what this is. I'm like, I can't talk. I don't know why. Who knows why? So it was only afterwards. I think it was so weird, man, because I never liked when people said acting was hard. And when I'd read an article of somebody and they'd be like, oh, I needed to get away from that character. I'm like, please. Do a real job. Do a real fucking job. Come on.
You're saying it's a real job.
I'm saying it. At some point, it can be a real fucking job.
Depending
a
on
very
the
hard
on the
job
task.
that asks a lot of you. The amount of fantasy thinking you have to make yourself do.
Yeah.
Live in this world.
Yeah.
For hours a day, and it's a very intense world. And
Are you shutting off after these days? Like, when you get back to
I was just running, man. I was just running to keep up. In the 1st season, the first 4 or 5 weeks were just gonna kill me.
Yeah.
And they do a thing called push your call, where so you get this turnaround time of 12 hours, and every night they would come to me and say, we need to push your call for tomorrow. We need to get you in earlier than the 12 hours.
Yeah.
And I would go, well, I mean, is that really? Can I say no? And they would never answer me, and I would sign off on it because, that's what we need to do.
Yeah.
And then after 3 weeks, 4 weeks of that, I remember it was a Saturday morning. They came in, we'd shot all night. We shot from Friday at 6 p.m. to Saturday at 6 a.m. And they said, we need to push your weekend call. We need you here Monday at 5:30. So it's Saturday at 6:30. We're leaving. We haven't left set yet. And we need you here Monday at 5:30 in the morning to act for 12, 14 hours Monday. Yeah. And this is the 3rd week, right? So, and I was going to die. And I said, can I say no? And I won't give away who said it, but the guy who said it was asking me, goes, the crew would really appreciate it if you did. They would? Oh, then no. And from that point on, awesome. I got more careful about pushing myself. But that next week, I remember on that, I had I was so thankful for this opportunity. I mean, it's insane, man.
Yeah.
It's like being asked to play in that level of acting and writing and that level of crew that Vince Gilligan gathered around himself. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's stupid. It's like, I have to say, it's like being asked if the Cubs asked me to pitch a couple times a year.
I gotta say though, okay, from an outsider,
like, well, what do you mean? Okay, I'm gonna say yes.
from an
It's
outsider
gonna
perspective
suck,
though,
but I'm gonna say yes because I grew up in Chicago. I'm gonna pitch for you.
Right.
If you ask me,
Yeah.
you're stupid.
Yeah.
And then, okay, well, you're pitching next week. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I better start throwing all day long every day and see if I can get the ball across the plate.
well, from what I saw, and I don't know everyone, but it seemed that there are so many actors and comics and writers that have a great reverence for you and for what you've done in the past, like Mr. Show and Stiller and SNL and everything else. And they were like, yes, Bob Odenkirk finally got his due. I sensed that from a lot of people. They were just like, it's so awesome. He finally has a vehicle for
Well,
something
that's very
big.
nice of people.
That's what I saw.
I don't deserve
Call it like
it.
it is.
I certainly don't deserve it, but
You still think
Yeah.
that?
yeah, absolutely.
Because he hasn't gotten any job since.
I
I know. What?
look. The truth is, though, I also
You kill in
but also
everything
this,
you're
man.
in.
Also this. You know how when people do something, anything like, I'm sure there's skateboarders who you go up to them, pros who you go, you're so good at, and they go, really? Do you think I'm no good? Oh, please, thank you. And you go like, will you shut up? You fucking won like 5 championships. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, don't act. You know, come on. And I think I can do that with myself too. Somewhere around the 2nd season, 3rd season, I remember starting to get nervous about going back for the 3rd season and going, all right, look, you either can do this at this point or you can't.
Right.
So don't be getting nervous.
Yeah,
That's
'cause
dumb.
You've done it.
Yes, you've done it. You've either done it or you haven't done it.
You've
If you haven't done
killed
it,
it.
if you can't do it, don't worry. The audience will tell you, stop.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
will stop watching you and it will end on its own. You don't have to do anything about it. You don't have
Right.
to make it happen.
Good way to look at it.
Yeah. So don't go walk around with this uncertainty and don't feed that
Yeah.
voice in you because it's stupid.
It seems like you put a lot of pressure on yourself, but sometimes maybe to the point of not healthy.
Look, the pressure that I put on myself in that first season was utterly deserved and probably is what made me good enough to pull it off.
Yeah.
Was because I did go, you better fucking shit your pants right now
Yeah.
and get to it.
Yep.
Because that's the appropriate response.
Yep.
You should be scared out of your fucking mind and you should work all day and night.
Because you know you're going to make yourself step up.
You or you're not, but this is your chance, and this is a crazy chance. And there did come a point where I said, look, okay, you're there, you're doing this job, you have some tools. By the way, I had no tools for it. You know, actors who go to school to learn, look, I'd written, and so everything I looked at came from writing, and I'd done a lot of sketch comedy, which is super fun, but you have a couple lines, 2 lines, 3 lines. You don't say a lot, and it's very broad. And I didn't have the tools that all these other people around me had of like breaking down a script or thinking about their role or taking it apart and doing. I mean, I could do it. I did it myself organically by sitting down. Well, I guess, how do you do this? I mean, who is this guy? And then you start looking at what he says and why does he say it like that and not like this? And so, but I had to do all that in a very short amount of time.
Did you have people helping you with that?
Well, you know, Rhea Seehorn was my co-star on Better Call Saul. She was always there for me. I'd say Cranston and honestly being around those people,
Yeah.
you know,
Watching how
osmosis,
they do it,
yeah,
right.
like looking at their script and like, oh, I see how they made notes, you know, like
Yeah.
the notes on this side are this, the notes on that side are, you know, subtext, and this side is the actual words, or,
Oh,
you know what I
shit,
mean?
yeah.
Like, oh, I see. This is the bigger story, this is the subtext story, and this is the specific, exactly what is happening story. You know, you can get it from, I got a lot from looking at other people's scripts.
Would they
and that goes for
impress-
SNL too, looking over at, you know, somebody else's scripts and how they noted it.
Oh, that's
Were they
fascinating.
impressed by the way you picked it up?
They kept it going.
I don't know if anybody was all that impressed. I think maybe Vince and Peter probably were. I'm going to take a guess that the producers were like, holy shit, he's doing it.
Did you know how many seasons it would be?
No,
from the outset?
man. I thought it would be one.
Man.
half a one.
And when did you know it would be the last?
Oh, we knew that. I mean, Vince has those kinds of things in his head. I think we probably knew it somewhere at the beginning of the 5th season that there'd be only, 5 and 6. He likes to end things kind of before they're exhausted. I know he did that with Breaking Bad. I mean, Breaking Bad, one of the reasons we did so well, Better Call Saul, was because Breaking Bad ended before people were, exhausted by it. They wanted more.
Yeah.
And then we came along. I got very lucky, guys. That's what the bottom line is. But when you get lucky and you know it, you fucking go to work.
Well, yeah, so I'm saying it wasn't happenstance. You got maybe lucky with that one role, but then you owned it and you did it so well that it was like, okay, he belongs here.
Yeah,
That's
well,
awesome.
That's all right.
I
just got to figure out what's next, and
More
I'm
action?
61. Yeah, for sure.
Hell
I
yeah.
had so much fun doing Nobody.
That was so much fun to watch.
And I
I love
got a
that
couple
thing.
action movies lined up. One by Derek Kolstad, actually kind of both by him, but this one that he wrote that's a new story called Normal, and it's just fucking great, man.
Yeah.
We're gonna make that hopefully in the fall.
Do you like doing the fight scenes?
So very much so. It's
fun, right?
So much fun.
I got to do it one time.
Yeah.
I was on what is that movie with Paul Blart Mall Cop?
Yeah.
And he wanted a skateboarder who was like a fighter, and I'm a fighter.
Yeah. What did you fight? What?
I'm an MMA fighter,
Yeah.
but I'm more of a boxer now because my knees and ankles from skateboarding don't allow people to pull on my legs. But he was big into MMA,
Yeah.
so he and I had a little bit of a MMA friendship. He's
Yes,
like, "Oh, you
cool.
see the next fight this weekend?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." And then we had a fight scene.
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'm going to do this." He's like, "What about if I do this?" I'm like, "Dude, you can just go at it. Like, you can crack me if you want." And he's like, "Really?" And then it kind of escalated. He pulls me out of a tanning booth and then puts me in a tanning bed and smashes me in a tanning bed. But we like had some punching exchanges and stuff. And
It's so fun, isn't it?
it was like, because the rest of
Honestly-
it I was nervous, like, because I'm not an actor at all. And they were like, "Here's your lines." I'm like, "Oh my God, I can't remember
there
any
it
of
is.
this stuff." He was like, "I'm going to smash." But they had the little rubber things on the tanning bed, so when my arm was out, he was
Yeah.
smashing my arm,
Yeah.
but the rubber thing was blocking my arm from being smashed.
Yeah.
And the first time he hit it, the rubber things fell off,
no.
and he just started smashing my arm.
Oh,
but
boy.
I was like, I don't care.
You're doing it. Yeah, you're in it.
Yeah,
This was so much fun. So the bus fight was something
This
we
is
knew
so
we wanted
cool,
to do
man.
right from long before we made the movie. Really, we were building that fight at the stunt facility, and I said I had two thoughts. One was I want to get hurt first. I want to get hurt, and I want to miss.
yeah.
I want to. So first get hit, and he hits his head on the bar. That was my pitch. Like, I want him to just do something dumb.
Yeah.
Now, Jackie Chan, if he hit his head on that bar, would look at the camera and kind of go, like, and it would make you laugh, but it would tell you that this is all a fun joke. And I wanted to play a guy who gets hurt.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
It makes it a way more realistic fight.
Yes, and to the extent that it's the words "way more" are within reason. And then the second thing I wanted was he gets thrown out of the bus, and he could walk home. He could be done.
Yeah.
And he goes back in.
Yeah.
So to me, those were what mattered.
It makes him so much tougher
Well, he's just
and psycho.
so fucking pissed off.
To go back in
He's
is
so
just like...
he's got. I'm saying this is called 18 years of marriage. I'm kidding. I love my wife so much. I'm kidding. So sorry. My kids, I love my wife.
Shit, that's way funnier. Stop breaking the studio, dude. You're a crazy person.
So I got Sam Kinison. He said, "You go to meet the devil." The devil's like, "Oh, I'm gonna scare this guy." And he's like, "Wait, what? You've been married twice? What? Oh, let me just show you around." Not my joke.
Oh man,
I'm happily
Great
married.
joke. Oh my!
Did you ever see
God.
Kinnison?
Never saw him. Never
saw
saw
him
him live. No, was he great?
Insane, yeah.
He made me laugh. I thought he was very funny. Yeah, I remember my brother Bill calling me the first time Kinnison was on Letterman and going, "You gotta see this guy. It's so funny."
Who was your favorite? When you were really
Oh,
impressionable?
Steve Martin.
Yeah.
Was everything
Yeah.
to me.
Wow.
Everything.
Did you have the vinyl?
Yes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. We just played the shit out of that. You know what it was to me, because I love Python, but it was stand-up done as a character.
Mm-hmm.
So he was making fun of stand-up while he was also doing stand-up.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
Which is wild to think about. It was like a meta thing, and he was doing it. And brilliant. And just,
Yeah, he was genius.
That was an inspiration to me. And I loved some obscure stuff that you probably don't know about. One group called the Credibility Gap. That was, you actually know these guys. David Lander, Michael McKeon, and Harry Shearer. Mm-hmm. So Harry Shearer's on The Simpsons a lot, and he and Michael are in Spinal Tap.
Spinal Tap, yeah.
And David Lander, there's David, and there's Harry. And this must be, is this the Credibility Gap doing a live sketch? Oh, yes, who's on first? This is a great sketch of theirs. And they must have, they obviously made a little film of it. These guys did a radio show in Pasadena, and I had the album. They have a couple albums, two. One is a bunch of comedy bits, and the other is they hosted the Rose Parade. It's so funny. It's the actual Rose Parade, and they're making fun of it.
Yeah, I did see that.
You know it?
Yeah.
They're making fun of it.
It's called
Simulcast
Floats.
it, right?
It's called Floats, I'm sure.
But when they simulcast it?
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yes, it's been done. But they are doing bits that they've pre-scripted, but also actually watching the parade and hosting it. So they were an inspiration. Bob and Ray. Do you guys know Bob and Ray? And this guy, Richard Beebe, was part of their group. He was an older announcer that they had as part of their group. Look at these hippies, young hippies, and this one old guy.
So great.
And so then so many years later to do the show with Michael McKeon.
Right.
That's crazy.
Oh, I know.
Right?
I know.
And Bob and Ray, I love very much.
I was telling my wife that he's still Lenny to me.
Oh, yeah. David?
Michael McKeon
Yeah.
is Lenny and Squiggy.
Yes.
Vernon
yes,
Shirley?
Yes.
He's Lenny.
Wow.
Yes, but I knew him from this.
Sure.
And then I love these guys very, very much. And you can find all their stuff on the internet. You know, it's comedy on radio. They had a show for decades, I think. And it's kind of quiet. And, you know who they remind me of is Peter Cook and Dudley Moore. You know, did you ever hear Derek and Clive?
Yeah.
So these guys did all kinds of characters. They did, news reporters, and they did a little fake soap opera and all this. But they're very dry. You can see they're like not being performers. You know what I mean? They're just talking. But man, it's funny stuff. And this guy is so funny, Ray Goulding. So I really love them. And that's, by the way, that's Chris Elliott's dad right there.
Really?
On the right. That's Bob Elliott. It's Chris Elliott's dad and Abby Elliott's grandpa.
Oh, yeah, it looks like him.
And one of the greats of American comedy. And who else did I really love? Because these things really spoke to me. I did love Derek and Clive, and I love Peter Cook very much. I think he's like the funniest person who ever lived, is Peter Cook.
Yeah.
You know who that is?
That's a weird, that album, because that was I didn't even know I was listening to comedy. Like I was like, did you guys?
Two drunks?
You guys hear this? These two guys, they're drunk. Like, and I'm like, nah. What are you talking about? And then gathered around, pissing myself laughing, and I didn't even know that I was like, I was like, this show sounds crazy. These guys are animals.
Was it the beginning of Arthur?
Way before that.
No, but
you
means
mean,
that kind
was
of
it
where
the nascent appearance of Arthur?
Yeah.
To some extent,
yeah.
to some extent. But they were. That was, as I understand it, that was them. Those records are them at Electric Ladyland Studios on 8th Avenue in New York. So they would go there after they did their Broadway show and be drunk off their asses and record themselves being stupid and hilarious.
It's so great.
Yeah, because I was absolutely positive they were drunk. It wasn't a fake drunk.
Brilliant stuff. So those are the things that inspired me. I've thought about
Wow.
You know, there's just all this great comedy that people don't really know about that, you know, started the things that are now popular in a lot of ways. I feel like I like telling people about stuff that they maybe haven't heard of.
Who have you seen recently that you thought, okay, that's a new direction, that's funny?
I don't have an easy name for you. The funniest thing I've seen in the last few years that made me laugh really, really hard over and over is a thing called the Family Examiner. It's a fake British newspaper, like a local paper, and they did this thing as a website for 10 years, and then they compiled it into a book, and it's so fucking funny.
So it's like The Onion for a local...
It's like The Onion, but look at the graphic jokes they do. Look at the graphics, the shitty graphics of like a local paper.
Yeah.
It's a mess. And they put so much work into this. They put so much... I've never seen so much great comedy packed.
I love it. I feel like
look at this. Look at this.
I feel like
Go
we're
pop
discovering
on
a
that
new
page.
genre of
Pop
music.
on that page. Look at this. Everything in there is a joke. This is like a fake real estate page.
Miles sent me a video and said that he sent it to you and said that you laughed and laughed over some old guy farting. And I was like, dude, it can't be that funny. And the guy's fart is, if I don't know if there's a contest on who can do the loudest fart in the world, but it is, that dude could have died from this fart. Like, it's not right.
I don't remember.
I'm like, is this a real,
Look,
did they do audio over it? And the guy's like, oh, after it, he's like actually in pain. I'm like, yeah. Like, it was like,
well, I'm going to go look for this now.
Shattering.
Then YouTube's going to send me millions of videos of people farting. But I mean, I love Jackass.
Sure.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
I mean, it's not just like obscure stuff. I love Jackass.
Yep.
Yeah, me too.
Jackass is brilliant. And my
Yep.
favorite things in Jackass is it jumping or where they jump into the ceiling fan with a helmet on?
Yeah.
Like, it's that thing where you go, like, as a guy,
Yeah.
you go.
You can't deny
Your
it.
brain just does that. Your brain, you don't even realize it because you never say it out loud. But some part of you goes, I wonder if you jumped into that. I wonder what happened. And it just passes through your brain. And look at that.
But
Of course, it's brilliant that you gave us a chance to see what would happen. I'm curious what would happen.
This.
That would happen.
Yeah, Preston and Wee Man, where Wee Man jumps with the bungee cord.
Oh, that's one of the funniest things I've
That
ever seen.
is,
in
I
my
remember
life.
being
Yes.
in the theater, and I know them.
But that's the thing.
remember-
In that context, like it is really clever. It's ridiculous and stupid and dangerous, but it was so clever. Just that bit.
I just remember how much joy it gave me for
There's
so long after.
so much. And of
Like,
course,
it works so well. Like,
And no, the thing is, here's the thing. I got the backstory to that too, from Steve-O and Knoxville, because Preston's afraid of heights.
yeah. Oh,
And
that
so
was
he
the
didn't
other
want to do that, and he was
the other
doing
good sell.
everything he could.
Yeah.
He got up there twice. The first time he chickened out. He's like, I'm not doing
Yeah.
it. And the second time, I think they gave him a little something for his anxiety.
That's what I heard.
And then,
good use of Xanax.
but also he didn't want to drop, so he was doing everything he could to stay up and
Which
just
made
let Wee Man bungee off of him and,
Yeah.
and dangle, and then he couldn't hold it.
Which made it so much
So
better.
great, yeah.
I heard when he was King Kong, that he was so scared to be on top of the porta potty that he took something and wasn't scared, and they were like, "You've ruined it. We can't use
Oh
it."
yeah. That's true.
Because he
That
was
happened
so
too, yeah.
cool with being
Yeah.
up there that
Yeah.
they were like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "I might have
Right.
accidentally taken something."
Right.
They were like, "Dude, ruined.
That's not
Done."
what it's about. That's
Yeah.
not what it's about.
I love how this whole conversation
No,
devolved
I-
into Jackass. But
Hey, we're talking
Absolutely.
comedy,
every,
man.
It's great.
every conversation ends in Jackass.
a form of Jackass.
Yeah.
So what's next?
What's next is these action movies.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I gotta
Action
start
movies,
train.
more than one.
I think more than one. Yeah.
Start to train in like John Wick,
We
like,
make well. This is
or
the
just
thing,
get
though.
jacked.
No jacking because I want to be a guy. I want to be a regular guy.
Okay.
But in good shape enough to do the stunts.
Okay, because you
and not get hurt.
You were pretty jacked.
I don't think so.
You're just
I'm gonna
normally that jacked?
If you thought I was jacked, then I'm gonna
I thought
get
you were
beat
looking
up.
fit.
Well, that's what I'll be.
Okay.
But no more than that.
But
Because
you're gonna be
that's
trained
what
in
I
the
have to
arts, though.
offer. Look, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they don't need another guy who's totally bulked up and
Especially now,
looks
it's
like a
ridiculous
superhero.
now.
They don't need that.
Yeah.
Which is to say the audience doesn't need that. So here it is.
Yes, it is.
The biggest fart
Listen
that
to this
ever
sound,
happened.
dude.
I want to hear it.
How's that an ass? Do you know what I mean? Like, how can your butt do that?
You have to warm up your instrument, buddy.
It's like a seal being
You
run
don't
over by a
just-
car or
you
something,
don't just
dude.
go out there.
Like, it's impossible. Like, how did his butthole do that? I was trying to tell Miles, like, what bit of the meat was hitting the other bit that made that sound? Like, what part gets
He's
you
been holding us since World War II. That's what cracks me up.
It makes sense. That's a believable part of the story.
Yeah. Flamethrower, if you lit it.
Yeah, so are you getting trained in, like...
No, I'm just doing my normal training, and then I'll train more. One of the things we're trying to do is David Cross and I are planning to hike Machu Picchu.
If he returns your calls.
Yes, if he returns my calls. But we're planning to hike Machu Picchu in about a month and a half.
You have to go acclimate, right?
We would shoot it, because it's his bucket list.
Yeah.
David, actually.
Super
I don't have
cool.
a bucket list, but he does. And he asked, would I do this? And, there's a lot of travel shows and films, but I think it might be neat because we're old friends. We've done so much together over the years. And so take on this challenge. We would go, it's actually pretty hard and we would have to acclimate. We would go higher than the city.
Oh, wow. But you have to stay for a few days,
yeah,
right?
we're talking about going up to like 15,000
Oh, that's
feet.
awesome.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, that place looks so cool.
Yeah. So
Have you seen photos of Machu Picchu?
I just don't want to go. I just don't
it's
want to
amazing.
walk.
I would
You don't
go.
walk that much?
No.
My son Keegan really wants to do that too. That's
Like, if you
his
got a
bucket
video
list.
of it, I'll watch that,
Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make a video for you. You
Thank
don't have
you.
to do it.
Appreciate
we'll do
it.
it for you.
That's cool.
Thanks for asking. I think next for me is to go hurt myself in a skateboard outside. And
Yeah.
You
and
came to the
then-
right place.
And then
Right.
and then I don't get to do any of the movies or anything.
Oh,
Oh, man.
But let's go. I'm going to show you how I do it.
all right.
Oh, wow. That's pretty
it.
confident.
How it's
Here
done.
we go. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
Oh wait, where's my board?
Do you skate, Bob?
What do you mean by do I skate? You mean on a daily basis?
Yeah.
No.
He was born on a skateboard.
I mean, I skated. I told you I skated when I was a kid, but I mean, give me a board and I'll show you like a normal 61-year-old man who skated when he was a kid and what that looks like. Oh, yes. Look at these shins. Well, Tony, let me tell you, what you want to do, what you want to do is you want to find a quiet place where people aren't yelling. You want to put your right foot ahead. Just do that. Find your spot. Just shake it. And then you want to go in at an angle and you want to push yourself, but only about that fast. And then you want to get down and you want to do like things. You want to move your thumbs up again. You want to give like a thumbs up. Nice. And be a cool guy. Here he's gonna go win Del Mar in 1974.
It's beside it.
You show me, what did they do?
Oh, jeez. You jump off and then just, like, run beside it, like doing some...
If you just tell me, you don't have to do it on camera, I'll do it. I'll make an ass of myself.
Skate, then jump off and do some, like...
And then get back on?
Yeah.
Tony, eyes on me. Eyes on me. Going.
Yeah.
It's like you never left the board.
Thanks, Bob. That was amazing.
Like and subscribe.